Hi there, this is Jen, and thanks for joining me today. Today I am using one of the newest stamp sets from Possum Stamps, and that is called All Aboard. And so it is this stamp set that has basically this choo-choo train. So it has all of the train cars and then the main portion of the train, and then it's got a lot of little different elements that you can use to add to the different train cars. And then for my sentiment on one part of the card, I'm going to use this Puffy Holiday Greetings stamp set. And so I've gone ahead and I have stamped and colored all of my images using some Copic markers. And I've also gone ahead and taken the different elements like the Christmas trees and the Santa package and the gumdrops and added those, adhered those to the different railroad cars. But I'm going to go ahead and do this last piece on camera. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out this white piece in the middle of this train, but you don't really need to do this if you're filling it with something. So it looks really cute with this reindeer image, and so that's what I'm going to add. But honestly, it covers up most of the space, so it doesn't really make a difference if that part is cut. But if you were leaving it open and not having anything in that window, I think it looks nicer if it is cut out. But as you can see, when I put that reindeer in there, it covers up that entire piece. It would be better, I think, to go ahead and just cut a slit on the bottom so that you can insert the bottom portion of the reindeer behind that train image so that it's not on the outside. But other than that, not really necessary to cut out the entire window piece. So I just went ahead and added a little bit of glue to adhere the reindeer inside of that train piece. And then the reindeer has two little hooves, and I am going to add those right outside so it looks like his feet are hanging over the train. And I've also added another of the reindeer to one of the train cars. And then I'm going to add a little bit of glue and add my steam or smoke from the train. I'm also going to add a little bit of tape to both of those pieces just to make sure that they stay adhered. And once I have all of those pieces completed, I'm going to go ahead and start with the fold of the card. And I'm starting out with just a piece of paper to make a card base. So this paper is 5.5 by 8.5, and I went ahead and scored at 4.25. And then I cut another strip of white paper to 8.5 by 3, and then scored this at 4.25. And then I'm going to take some pattern paper from my stash and decorate the 8.5 by 3 strip. And so I've gone ahead, and this square is a 3 by 3 square, and this is going to be adhered to the strip that is showing on the outside of the card base. But I went ahead again and used some pattern paper, and then the sentiment that I'm using says "Have a Holly Jolly Christmas," and this is from the Puffy Holiday Greetings stamp set. I just went ahead and inked that up in some Morning Mist VersaFine Clair. And then I'm going to add this striped piece of paper and then my 3 by 3 square up to that score line. And I wanted to mention really quickly before I forget that Possum Stamps is having a Black Friday sale that ends today at midnight Eastern Standard Time, and it is for 25% off. And to get that discount, you just need to enter Friday 25 when you are in checkout. But it's a great time to get lots of those crafty deals at a discount. But for the card, I went ahead and I wanted to add a little bit of pattern paper to the front of the card base as well. And so I took another piece of pattern paper and adhered that. And then I went ahead and cut this strip of paper, which is going to end up being the same size as my white paper strip, which is 8.5 by 3. But I did go ahead and adhered it and then just trimmed off any of the excess. And so I added a little bit of adhesive, and I'm actually, as you can see, adhering this on the opposite side where I adhered the 3x3 pattern paper, of course, because this is going to be adhered to the inside of the card where all of my train pieces are going to be. And then when I went ahead and started assembling, I realized that I needed a little bit more room to get this card to close correctly. So at this point I hadn't glued it down yet, but again, I would have not glued this so close to the score on the card base, because that would have left a little bit more room on the outside of the card for it to fold. But as it ended up, I pushed that right up against that score line in the middle of my card base, which means that I did not have enough room to close the flap comfortably. And so what I ended up doing was I ended up just trimming off about 1/8 of an inch on the front of the card base to kind of help that close a little bit better. And it still doesn't close the best. So again, if I was going to do this again, I would have left a little bit more room for that score line on the edge so that it would close a little bit easily, or more easily. And then I went ahead and I did a dry layout of all of my pieces, and then I will take my tape runner and go ahead and adhere all of the train pieces. And then after I have that done, I thought it was a little too plain on the top and the bottom with just the white space. And so I'm grabbing some blue ink, and I'm just taking a piece of paper and tearing it. And originally I wanted these to be clouds, but I think they end up more looking like mountains or hills in the background. So I'll just go ahead and use that paper to create a little bit of a scene in the background with this ink. And this card style or fold, I love it because I was able to fit all of my pieces without having to do a slimline, and I don't actually enjoy creating slimline cards, which is why I wanted to find a different option for creating using all of the little train pieces that where I could fit it on a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 card, and this kind of fits the bill with how the paper is folded. But since my card wouldn't stay closed, again because I did not measure correctly, I went ahead and I used a little bit of Velcro. So I put a circle Velcro piece on that flap that opens, and then on the top of the card base, and that's going to keep it closed, and then it can be easily opened. And I also added another sentiment on the inside of this card, which is from the All Aboard stamp set. And that's going to do it for me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did like this video or find it informative, I would love it if you would give a thumbs up. I thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and I hope to see you next time.